Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia. If you're new here, I hope that you will subscribe before you leave. In today's video, I am doing part 2 of my fall palettes. This was requested. I told you guys, if you were interested in another one, I would film it for you. And so here we are. So let's go ahead and get started because we have got a ton of palettes to go through. All right. As you guys can tell, I am not letting go of Halloween. Halloween is like my favorite. Well, October in general. My birthday is in October. Halloween is October. That is my favorite holiday. I am having such a hard time letting it go. I have categorized these palettes into brands for the most part, I believe. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with Lunar Beauty. I absolutely love this brand. He just released a advent calendar. I did pick that up. That will probably be the next video that goes up after this. I am so excited. I can't wait to film that for you guys. But this is one of my favorite brands in general, and I cannot wait to show you guys these palettes. So first off, I've got the original Moonspell palette. This, I think, is still available, but this is such a gorgeous palette. It looks like a book, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So it slides out here, and this is the palette itself. Everything in the gold is like raised. You can actually feel it. This packaging is so nice. I just love like the spooky vibes of it. Everything about this I love. Then you open it up, you've got a mirror, and all of the shade names are like witch names. So you've got Bonnie, you've got Marnie, you've got Hermione, you've got Winifred, Sarah, Mary, you've got Prue, Piper, Phoebe, Paige, Sabrina. Just, it's the best, right? And then if you're looking at the color story, I mean, you've got purples, you've got greens. You guys know those are my favorites. And then you've got like this row of neutrals as well. I love this like periwinkle shade here. This palette is one of my very top favorites in my collection. I filmed that video many months ago, maybe like a year ago, my favorite palettes. This was in there and it has stood the test of time. It is still one of my very favorite palettes in my collection. Next up, we have got Eternal Eclipse. This is raised, and that's something with Lunar Beauty. I love the packaging. I love the color stories. I love the concepts. I love pretty much, there is only one thing that Lunar Beauty has released that I have not purchased, and that was the New Dimension palette. And it's just because I wouldn't use all of those shades. But man, Lunar Beauty just does it for me. This is the color story here. It's so dark and grungy. This actually would have looked beautiful with what I'm wearing. But yeah, I just love how dark and grungy this one goes. It's definitely unique in my collection. It's got a lot of these like blue-gray type of tones. I just think it is something special. Speaking of, we have got this palette here. This is the Greek Goddess palette. This is one of Lunar Beauty's first palettes. I love it. As you can tell, it has got Medusa on the front. Excellent packaging here, right? And then you open it up, and this is very everyday neutral. So if you cover up this blue, everything else in this palette is everyday shades. So while this one is not available any longer, you may still be able to find it like on eBay or Poshmark or something like that. But regardless, if you have this palette, highly recommend pulling it out. It is beautiful. I did a look with this shade right here, Hera, the other day, and the way these shimmers catch the light, it's just so pretty. I did have one more hiding from Lunar Beauty. This is the Moonspell 2 palette. So let me just hold it up in comparison to number 1 because it is a little bit bigger. As you can tell here, the size difference. This one is a little bit bigger, number 2. It has got like the same type of packaging though, where the palette itself slides out. There are some different emblems on the front of this one, but overall the design is pretty much the same. And then you open this one up, and this one is a lot more colorful. However, just for the spooky vibes and stuff like that, I had to include this in my fall palettes. I love, again, all the purples. Purples go so good together with reds and like oranges. You wouldn't really expect that, I don't think. But yes, purples and reds, something about it, it just blends seamlessly. I love this color story specifically. I mean, this shade right here is absolutely gorgeous. This is called Luna. Yeah, and again, this one is like witch shade names. I mean, you've got Mildred, you've got Myrtle, like from Harry Potter. I mean, I don't think that I need to say more. Those 2 Moonspell palettes are just so fun. And for anyone that likes fall or Halloween, anything spooky, I would highly recommend these palettes. They are just excellent collector editions, honestly. Another favorite brand that I have, and one that I have several palettes that I want to share with you guys, is Natasha Denona. And first off, I want to start with the Sunset palette. Now, this is one of her more pricey palettes. This is like one of her $125, $129 palettes. I did catch this one on sale, so I think I got it for around $85. But regardless, these are the shades in here. Everyday shades. Beautiful shades. This is an everyday palette. I have pulled for this one so many times. The pans in this one are super deep, so it would actually take you a long time to go through this. Even if you're like a professional makeup artist, this would take you a while to go through. And I just love the shades. I love the warmth in this palette, and everything performs amazing. It's such a good one. Now, keeping with the theme of her larger palettes, I do have the Safari palette. Now, this is one of her matte palettes, and let me tell you, look at this color story. If this is not fall in a palette, I really don't know what is. This is one of my favorite palettes. I don't do an all matte look all the time, but this is great. I mean, I have used it on its own, but it's great to mix and match with other palettes as well, or like eyeshadow toppers, or like pigments that you may have. But the quality in this one is absolutely amazing. I love the packaging itself as well, like the matte army green. That's all that I have to recommend for Natasha as far as her larger palettes. Now, I do have a mid-size palette, and that is the Sunrise palette. So this is one of her $65 palettes. I definitely gravitate more towards this size palette, and the difference basically is that these palettes just aren't as deep. Now, if you're someone that has a lot of eyeshadows, or just a few eyeshadow palettes in general, you really, I mean, how often are you going through a whole eyeshadow? Probably very rarely. So this is the size that I gravitate more towards, and I think it's great that Natasha Denona offers different sizes. So she has her little $25 mini palettes, she's got this palette, and then she also has her larger variations as well. But I mean, look at this color story. I really love this color over here, the purple, of course. But I mean, look at these oranges. You've got the mustard green, you've got the oranges, you've got the reds, you've got the golds, the like creamy looking yellow colors. I love this palette. It is so beautiful. Every look that I've ever done with this palette, I have loved. And I just think it's something special. Now, I have got a dupe for a Natasha Denona palette. This is from Alter Ego, and this is the Artemis palette. This is a dupe for her Metropolis palette, and I am pretty certain that that Metropolis palette is like a $200 and something palette from Natasha. Now, this one is like the exact same color story, but from a definitely more affordable brand. This brand in general dupes a lot of other palettes, so I mean, you could browse this website. I did purchase multiple palettes from Alter Ego. Their formula is absolutely amazing. the quality is there, and I mean, it doesn't get much more fall than this, guys. I love this palette. It has got so many options. You've got greens, you've got blues, you've got reds, you've got oranges, you've got yellows, you've got golds. I mean, this palette is absolutely amazing, and I love that you have these dark colors to really smoke it out as well. You've got a nice mirror in here. Great to travel with. I love the outer packaging as well. And I think this palette was only like $20 or something like that. Another one of my favorite brands, and this one is going to be debatable, and I'm sure I may get some comments about it, but Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I absolutely love Jeffree Star Cosmetics eyeshadows. I love the concepts. I love the packaging. It is something special to me. Now, these are a little bit annoying to store. I will say that, but regardless, I mean, this was something that was unseen in the market when it came out. This is the Blood Sugar palette. As you can tell, it has got the little clasp here. This is a very warm toned palette, and I just absolutely love it. So you open it up, you do get a nice mirror in here, and inside, of course, this is a more like red themed palette. I love that you do have some dark purples in here. You've got some golds, you've got the reds, you've got these everyday colors as well. But I just think that this is very well done. It's definitely something special in my collection, and I really love it. I still enjoy that palette. On that same theme, I've got the Blood Money palette. Now, this one, you like squeeze these and then this opens up, and you, of course, have got a mirror in here as well, but this one is green themed. I've told you guys multiple times, green and purple eyeshadows are one of my favorites. I love that you get so many different variations in here, different finishes and everything. All of these colors obviously are going to work wonderfully together, and I really love this palette. I think it's different in my collection as well, and it will always be something special to me. And next up, I have the collaboration that Jeffree Star did with Shane Dawson. This is the Conspiracy palette. Now, while I think you can still get those other two, I don't think that you can get this one currently. You could probably get it on like eBay or Poshmark or something like that. But, you know, as much controversy as there was with this palette, this is one of my favorite palettes. Look at this color story. I love the range that you get. You have neons, you've got pinks, you've got greens, you've got reds, you've got orange, you've got your brown neutral row here. I mean, you've got like pastel type colors. I think that the variation that you get with this palette is absolutely amazing. These colors work together so well also, and this is just one of the standout palettes in my collection for sure. All right, next up I have got the Bloodlust palette. This is such special packaging. I don't have anything else like this in my collection. It is like velvety. This looks like a little jewelry box here. You open this up. You definitely have a mirror in here, and this is the color story. I think this is great for transitioning into winter from fall. You've got wonderful purples in here. You've got reds. I love this green in here as well, but this shade right here is the one that I love and I keep going back to. It is such a fun shade, and I don't have anything else like this in my collection. So it is like a matte black, but you have got tons of purple micro glitters in there, and those glitters stand out on your eye. It's not something that's going to dust away. It is there, and it's going to be there all day long. And probably one of my favorites from Jeffree Star is the Pricked palette. I love the packaging. Again, something completely new and different to the market. I love that each one of these palettes has got like a different way to open it. I love that attention to detail as well. This is probably Jeffree's most like everyday palette that I have. And here it is here. Of course, this one is going to be very warm. You've got a lot of different shades of orange in here. I love these copper type shades. I love this gold. You've got another black with glitter in it. This one has got gold glitter. Same type of deal as that black with purple though. This one just has gold glitter. I love the dark cranberry red shades. Again, just another palette, very well done in my opinion. All right, and then last up from Jeffree Star, I had to include the Beauty Killer palette. I love the design of this one, and I love the pan size as well. This pan size is absolutely amazing. It's huge. I love this green in here. You've got another black with glitter. However, this has got purple and blue, and it looks like a platinum type glitter in it as well. I have used this palette all over my face. So I used this as like a bronzer slash contour type shade. I used this as a blush, and everything else I used on my eyes. Love this green. Love this like taupey silver type of shade as well. And yeah, I love how dark and deep this one can go. I just think it's a very nice, different collection of colors, and that's what makes me appreciate it so much. All right, most of my Huda palettes are in a different part of my collection than where I was pulling these palettes from for this video. However, I did have one newer Huda palette that I had not put up yet, and I wanted to include it in this video. It is the newest palette. This is the Empowered palette from Huda. I have worn this several times. Each time that I have worn this, it's definitely been a look that I absolutely loved, and I kept finding myself look in the mirror and be like, dang, it still looks this good this long into the day. So these wear extremely well, and this is the palette here. Now, I do have a video up with this. Any of these palettes, if you just search Alicia Corrigan and then the name of the palette, it should pop up if I have any videos with it. But here is this color story here. It is absolutely beautiful. It's fall in a palette, and I could definitely see this being one of like my favorite like everyday palettes that I pull for. Keeping with that same theme, I have got some ABH palettes. Now, most of my ABH palettes are in a different part of my collection over here, but I did have a few of her larger palettes in the area in my makeup collection that I pulled these palettes from for this video. So from ABH, I have got this palette here. This is the Volume 1 palette with ABH and Norvina. And inside this one, again, you're getting oranges, you're getting reds, you're getting purples, you're getting blues, you're getting golds. I just love the range of this one. I think that this is an artist type of palette. If you're a professional, even if you're just someone, you know, like me that loves palettes and you love color, I think this one is such a good one to add to your collection solely because of the range. Now, this like peachy shade right here is one of my favorites from this palette. It is stunning when you put it on the eyes. And then another one from ABH. I love the packaging on this one as well. The packaging on this is very sturdy also. This is the Volume 3, and as you can tell from the cover, this one is going to have a lot of oranges in here. Now, I love the plummy shades that you get with this. I love the purples, the greens. You've got a variation of greens as well. I mean, you've got like lime type of green, like, you know, neon type colors, all the way to like teal, like Kelly green type of colors. You've got this blue. You've got some everyday shades in here as well, so you definitely don't have to go the color route with this, but I just love it. And these are so pigmented. They're so easy to work with. It is big, and I do find myself rarely reaching for like larger palettes, but it's great to have in my collection, I will say that. All right, next up I have got a few from Pat McGrath. So I've got the past 3 holiday collection palettes. So first off, this was her very first holiday collection palette that she released, and this I actually have on my eyes today. I am wearing these 2 shades here. Love it. The quality on this is absolutely amazing. And again, I mean, look at this color story. I really don't feel like I need to say anything else. I love this green, love this purple, everything in this palette is like, this is probably my favorite one of her holiday palettes that she came out with. Now this is the one from last year, and inside this one, again, just an absolutely gorgeous color story. Obviously this one is more like blue green, I feel like, but I mean, absolutely beautiful as well. This green in this palette is stunning. I love this brown in here as well. And I feel like these holiday palettes are a really great way to try a lot of Pat McGrath at once. They're usually about $78, but you are getting a bunch of shades in here. And then this is the one from this year. Now this one doesn't look as fall-like, but I wanted to just throw it in here. I do have a video up with this. I loved the look that I did with this. And this, I don't know, it's just beautiful. There's something special about it. Again, you've got the purples, the blues, the greens. It's everything I want. All right, and then last up from Pat McGrath, I've got one of her larger palettes. My packaging is kind of starting to come apart here, but this is the Mothership 6. This is the Midnight Sun. I do believe this one is on sale currently for $85, and that is actually the price that I got mine at. This is normally like one of her $125, $129 palettes. The packaging is so nice and weighted. You can feel how luxurious this is whenever you're holding it. The bottom is like gold plated type of deal. I mean, obviously it's not gold, but I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. You open it up, you have got a beveled mirror in here, but these are the shades. And again, I think that this just screams fall. You've got these nice like copper autumnal colors. You've got the purple, you've got the green. I love this as like a quad by itself. I just think this is absolutely stunning, and you've got some of her special shades in here as well that are just so eye-catching on the lids. It looks like liquid, like metal. It's really, really something special. And this packaging is like art. I cannot make myself get rid of this. I absolutely love it. I will keep this until it freaking falls apart. All right, from Glamlight, I have got 2 of their, I forget what this was called. I think it was like their happy hour collection, but I have got the chocolate martini and I have got the dirty martini. And first off, I'm going to go ahead and start with the chocolate martini. This is the color story here. It is absolutely beautiful. These shades are kind of like those that are a little bit cream type. Like you can definitely see whenever you put your finger in here. These are everyday colors, and again, I love like the copper and dark red tones that are in here. I love this dark, kind of with a reddish undertone brown as well. I just think it is such a pretty one, and I love the pop of purple that is in there as well. Now, the Dirty Martini, on the other hand, obviously is going to be a green-based palette. Again, I love this one. I love all the different tones of green that you're getting in here. You're getting greens, you're getting blues, and this one is probably my favorite of the 2, to be honest with you, but they both are amazing. Glamlight runs sales all the time on their website. Black Friday is coming up. They definitely will have Black Friday sales. So if you're interested in these, that would be when I recommend picking those up. All right, guys, now we are to just a bunch of like one-offs. So these are all just going to be kind of individual brands, and let's go ahead and get into them. This one is more of like an everyday type of palette than a specific fall palette, but I try to mention this palette whenever I can because I feel like I don't ever hear anything about Buxom eyeshadows, but this has been a palette I have reached for quite a bit since I picked it up. This is the Buxom and Ash K Home palette, and inside this is the color story here. So I love that all of these are very like neutral everyday type of shades, right? And then you've got your pops of color here. Everything performs absolutely amazing. I have done so many looks with this shade right here, just doing a nice everyday smoky eye. It's so fast, it's so easy. And again, I figured I could throw it in here because it's got the orange and the purple, and to me, that is very fall. Next up, we've got this massive palette from Urban Decay. I still love this palette. I love Game of Thrones. I will always love this palette, and I will always have this in my collection. But if you are familiar with this one, the palette actually pulls out from the side here. This is more of like a collector's edition. Again, it kind of looks like a book if you have it standing up on a shelf. You open it up, you've got a mirror, you've got a quote here from Daenerys Targaryen, and then inside you have got the Iron Throne. Such a cool collector's piece. Again, I love it. But let's go ahead and talk about these shades. So again, I think that this section up here transitions perfectly into the winter, and all of these shades I just find to be very, very fall, specifically these two houses, but I do love this one as well. I love this palette so much. I feel like it did not get enough hype whenever it came out, but I still love it. These shades perform amazing. Sometimes these like collaborations, the quality can be lacking, but this I thought was amazing. From Hip Dot and Kesha Rose, I have got this palette here. I love it. I checked the website and this is still available. I mean, look at this packaging. It is absolutely beautiful. I do have a video with this palette, but you open it up and I feel like this is such a different one to my collection. I mean, again, you've got such variation in this palette. You've got neon type of shades. You've got pinks. You've got oranges. You've got reds. You've got greens. You've got purples. You have like a silver. You've got a black. I mean, this palette I feel like you can have so much fun with. But when I look at this, I just get Halloween vibes. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know you could use this palette for spring and things like that with these like more neon type shades, but the purple paired with the green, paired with this orange and the red, I see fall. But anyway, without a doubt, this is one of the funnest palettes that I have in my collection. Speaking of fun palettes, I have got this one from Nomad Cosmetics. This has quickly became kind of like a brand that I am very interested in, but this is the Haunted Europe palette, and I'm going to try to get this on film. I mean, this is such a beautiful palette. Now, you open it up, and here is the color story. Again, I don't think you can get too much more fall or creepy, like spooky vibes than this. I absolutely love it. I used this the other day. It is beautiful. I have used, I think when I did the tutorial, I did these two shades. It was beautiful. The other day I used the grays in here, and again, it was such an easy, everyday smoky eye, and absolutely loved it. I used this on Halloween, actually. I dressed up as Wednesday Addams, and it worked beautifully. All right, another brand that is quickly becoming one of my favorites is Ace Beauty, and this is the Classical Paradise palette. Again, I do have a video up with this. I have a video up with a lot of these, so if you're interested, again, just search, in YouTube, Alicia Corrigan, whatever the palette name is. This is this palette here. I love these grungy green colors. Love the reds. I love the oranges. Everything about this I love. I love the size. The price point on this is not bad as well. I think it's like $30 or $40, so it's not, you know, crazy. And amazing quality on this palette. Speaking of amazing quality, let's go into Dominique. This is the Moment palette. Now this is her newest palette. I think she has one releasing tomorrow, actually, November 4th. So that may be actually when this video goes up, but she is supposed to have a palette releasing. I can't remember the name of it. It looked beautiful, very everyday. Which is kind of common with Dominique. I feel like a lot of her shades are kind of everyday shades, and then she usually will have like a few pops of color. Now, this one I thought was very interesting. I love this blue, love this green. I've done a look with this. I think that's the one that I did the tutorial with, but I love these shades, and I think whenever these hit the light, they are just so stunning. So I'm going to swatch 3 of these for you guys. I mean, look at this shade, how extremely pigmented this is. I mean, this you can just keep blending and blending and blending. And I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I love this like periwinkle-ish type of a blue as well. I mean, and I wish you could see this in direct sunlight. It is stunning. All right, guys, we are getting close to the end here, I promise. From Storybook Cosmetics, I felt like I had to mention this one. This is the Wizardry and Witchcraft palette. I used this last year in my Halloween makeup tutorial when I was a witch. And inside here, you're of course getting a mirror, and these are the shades that you're getting. I love the shade names. I actually use that gray as like a contour. This gray is amazing. It is like one of those more taupey grays. This is a very wearable gray in here, in other words. I love that this palette is very everyday. Love the shade names. You've got like Potions, Salem, Prophecy, Bewitched, Jinx, Spellbook. So just very fun names. Love the packaging. Again, this is something so special in my collection and something that I will probably have forever. Now this one I'm going to mention not because of the quality, because the quality on this one is not that great, but I just love this palette. This is actually from Hot Topic, and they come out with a lot of holiday palettes. I know they have like a Jason one, a Freddy Krueger one, Michael Myers. So they come out with a lot of fun palettes in the holiday season, and this one I picked up last year. This is the Beetlejuice palette, and I did get the Beetlejuice palette that Makeup Revolution just released, and I also got the one from Beauty Bar, I believe is what it's called. So I should have both of those very soon. I cannot wait to do a video. But again, look at this color story. Greens, purples. You can definitely see a theme here. I love it so much, and I actually did quite like the look I got with this. I did a green smoky eye. So if you are interested in kind of duping this with something in your collection, or if you have this one, be sure to check that out. All right, this one I got because I love Bailey Sarian. I think I have seen every single one of her Makeup Monday videos that she has ever created, but this is my first palette that I ever got from Estate Beauty, and I got it because it was Bailey Sarian. I was gonna get this palette no matter what. I got this directly from the website, and inside here, this is such a beautiful palette. Again, reds, orange, purples, theme going here. You can use this one all over your face as well if you are around my skin tone. So I used tan lines as like a bronzer slash contour, and then I could use any of these shades on the cheeks as a blush. I used this as a highlighter, and this shade on the lid, it just looks like you have got like wet eyelids if you are around my skin tone. I love this palette so much. I've used it so many times, you can't tell, but this really is like one of my go-to palettes in my collection, and I love this one. Now, oh, this is another one from Hip Dot, and this is the Ouija palette here. Again, love this packaging. I love horror, I love spooky things, and this is right up my alley. And then in here, you are getting a beautiful color story as well. Now, I don't really dig these like glitter shades here, this black and this like green. Everything else in this palette performs amazing. I love this purple in here. This purple as a liner, bitch, stunning. All right, from Makeup Revolution, I felt like I had to mention these. This was one of my favorite collections that Makeup Revolution released. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas. I love that movie, and I wanted to show you guys these palettes really quickly. Now, these are not the best quality. They're really not, but for the price point and the amount of shades that you are getting, this is really, really good. I think these palettes are only like $15 or $20. They did come out with some recently like this for, is it the Grinch? It might be the Grinch. I know they definitely did come out with a Grinch collection, but anyway, I think these colors are just beautiful. You do have to work with these shades a little bit more, but you can build them up to the intensity that you are, you know, looking for. And I mean, for the price point again. Now, this is the Jack Skellington one. I like this one a little bit more because you've got your everyday colors over here, but then on this side, you've got something that's a little bit more unique. You've got some like more neon type of shades. These are just more different shades to my collection. I feel like this adds more to my collection than the Sally palette, but either way, I think these are both super cool, and I am very happy to have these in my collection. All right, guys, 3 more and then we are done. I'm going to go ahead and mention this one. This is a newer brand to Ulta Beauty. This is the Treslúce palette, and this is the La Flor de Mexico. So this is like based off of flowers in Mexico, I believe. And I just think it is absolutely stunning. This is a cheaper brand in Ulta as well, so this is more kind of like Morphe prices. It's also kind of like Morphe quality, I will say that. So it's not like the tippy top best quality, but I love these shades. Again, you can't tell me that this is not fall in a palette. Love the greens and the oranges mixed together. I love this green as well. This is Nopal, and I just feel like it's a very like unique shade. I'm also gonna swatch Birds of Paraiso and Orchid, and I just want you to see these shades. I mean, you can tell they definitely swatch well. The price point is there, and I just think it is a really good palette, and I definitely wanted to give it a mention. Now, from BH Cosmetics, we are going old school with this one. This is the original Zodiac palette. They did come out with, is it a Zodiac 2? I do have that one as well, but this one is by far my favorite. This is the first Zodiac palette that came out. It is a larger palette, but in the center you've got like a highlighter. All around here, these are all matte shades, and then all of these are like metallics. I think the quality on this is stunning. So I'm going to take these jewel tone shades here. Again, great for transitioning into the winter as well. I mean, oh my god. Oh my god. My hand is still a little bit wet from that makeup remover wipe that I used, but this is amazing. Again, this huge palette is like $20. BH Cosmetics does sales on their website all the time. Ulta has sales all the time. You can use coupons at Ulta on BH Cosmetics. Just another standout palette. All right, finally, I have got my last palette. This one is from Beauty Bay. The only downside with this one is you have to order it online. You can't pick this up in any stores, but this is the one in collaboration with Nikki Tutorials. Now, this palette, as you can tell, you've got a more bright side, and then you've got like a more dark spooky type of a side. And I love this palette so much. So let's go ahead and open up the brighter side first. So you could definitely use this all seasons. And then inside on the spookier side of things, this is your color story here. I love it. If you're looking at the whole palette, this is what it looks like. I'm going to give you guys a few swatches of this one. All right, so here are a few swatches. So I've got one matte. Now this is a more neon type of a shade, but I think this would again be beautiful as like a liner. And the shimmers in this palette are what are standouts in my opinion. Again, this is a very affordable palette. I love the design, I love the concept. And again, I think this palette was under $30. It's just absolutely beautiful. Something special and different in my collection as well. And one, again, that I will probably have in my collection forever. So that is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.